Ready to rock and roll. It was all out. Excuse me.
I'm ready to extemporize.
Whoa, no introductions yet.
I like it.
You know, I was almost going to throw his name out there. Okay, you mysterious stranger, don't say anything.
I won't.
No, not you. I'm looking at our guest.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, you, God knows what the hell you're going to get. I don't even know. Are we officially going yet? I need that thing that you do normally.
Yeah, so
we're recording.
welcome. We are recording, everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Raine Jordan, the lovely Raine Jordan from AKR Magazine. I appreciate you hanging out with me. How are you doing, Raine?
Thank you so much. I am doing really well today. I woke up and it was like spring. I was like,
It was a nice
wow.
It was a nice
I
day.
got to open my windows, and
Yeah.
get some fresh air in the house and some sunshine.
Well, and I just hope and I pray. Now we got to do it. We just got to do it. Like I said, think of the coolest piano keyboard player in the world. And if you're coming up with a blank or something like that, I'm going to tell you who it is for you. Bobby Valderrama.
All right.
Bobby, Big Bobby from San Jose.
What an introduction. Thank you.
Was that all right?
Yeah.
That was cool. Thank you. And you know what? It came from my heart.
I know.
It came from my heart. So
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, man. You came all the way from San Jose.
It's good to be here. Honored, bro.
Oh, man, I
Yeah.
appreciate that, bro.
Raine, nice
You're
to
looking
meet you.
good.
Nice to meet you too, Bobby.
You're looking good. Yeah.
Yeah, I did get to hear your keyboard a little online.
Okay.
And I told Peter as I started, I said, I started listening to your, the two albums you have out.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I wanted, as I heard your keyboard, I said, I need to find all the ones that have feature you. Because honestly.
She did say that.
Yeah. I said, oh my God, he's great. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Well,
that.
and just obviously, I want, Bob, I want you to talk about all the projects you have going on stuff, but I just want to say thank you. Thank you personally. I mean, I won't even get into all the specifics of the thing, but just a genuinely cool dude, very generous in nature. But I love having you because you are Bobby on his keys created this bird
told me this.
sound
Yeah.
that started I don't know if you incorporate. Do you remember that, Bobby?
Yeah.
How did
I
that
do remember
go?
that was in the backyard
You
of one of the
created a
houses.
bird sound with his keyboard?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a setting, but I didn't know where it was.
Okay.
Obviously, I don't use it all the time.
Right.
But I knew there was helicopter sound and all that stuff.
Oh,
So
got
you
it.
mentioned
Bird sound.
you mentioned some omen happened where you open the door and there's a bird and you go, "What does that mean?" or something.
Yeah.
What kind of? And so I'm going, I got it here somewhere. So checked it out, found the bird, and started tweet, tweet, tweet.
It was incredible. And so then
the timing was perfect.
and then another show. Okay, I'm just telling you, because you got some keyboardists, and they're great, but they don't want to play either left hand and kind of bring in the bass tones if you don't have a bass player or something like that, or they sound great in a particular manner, style. They got their style and all that, which is great. But there is nothing, and I have challenged this guy. I'm telling you, man, I've challenged him with all kinds. So one of these shows, do you remember, Bobby? We were up at Eric and Cindy's in Lafayette. And I said something like, Doug, what was it? Something like, give me a Jamaican song. And then you bust out, what was it? The xylophone?
Yes,
Or what was it?
yeah, some xylophone or marimba, something. Yes.
On your keyboard?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Let me ask the first question, then you
Yeah.
take
Yeah,
over.
go ahead, no.
Okay, because I'm interested. Okay, we never really get a chance to, talk more than, hey, thanks for coming, I love you, dude. How was traffic and all that shit. But you are really the most diverse keyboard player that I'm familiar with. Okay, absolutely love it. The nice thing about you coming, and I'm not trying to build you up too much, but it's how I feel. We could have, because that one thing that you did, I believe the bird sound too, is we were originally supposed to have a sax player join us.
Right.
Okay, and it was Ryan Price, Chris Ruiz, okay, and we were going to have a sax, I won't mention names or anything, but we we're going to have a sax player that was going to join us, but he just didn't show up. But when you have Ryan Price and, of course, Chris, and Bobby.
You have a
Yeah,
keyboard?
okay.
You're good.
And it's funny because those songs, bro, I love those songs. There's a song called Soul Ascend, and there was two other ones there.
What number was that?
Oh, man, I don't know.
Okay.
33.
Okay. I got to
think it
check
was
it out.
Check it out.
Yeah, I
Let's
didn't
test
do
my
that.
thing.
I didn't check your thing out. Did you send me that video?
I mean, I sent you a few leaks.
I know,
links.
but I didn't look at that one
Well,
for
you're-
whatever reason.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
sorry.
maybe I didn't do solo send. I just did one of the
Oh,
other
okay.
ones. But I'm just saying, dude. I was like, okay, no. And then it's funny. And talk to me about your belief, because I'm interested in what makes you tick, Bobby. But to get back to my original thought or question is, what makes you want to learn these weird, what I would consider out of the normal things to learn, to look for the bird key? I mean, and not just stay in a particular safe zone, because you can be asked anything and you're going to produce it pretty much on the spot perfectly. And I mean, how do you do that? What makes you want to do that?
So, without giving my age away, you know, in the 70s and 80s, I did a lot of playing. But in those days, you had to be the keyboard players weren't just a Fender Rhodes player. You had to play. You had to be an organist. You know, all the Tower Power, Chester Thompson stuff. You had to do the clavinet, Stevie Wonder stuff. You had to do the straight piano stuff, straight ahead jazz stuff. And then the whole 80s thing with the synth revolution. So you had to do all the synthesizer stuff, all the soloing, and then you got into programming patches, and now everything's done for you already. But you as a keyboard player, you weren't just in. Now you can get away with that, but you had to learn all the stuff. You had to be aware of, and so I had a couple friends that say, find out everything that your keyboard does, just so you know what it does, even though you may never use it. So every time I get a new keyboard, I'll check it out. And it wasn't too long before that I actually stumbled upon, all those sounds. I knew some of the older keyboards yet, but I never thought I'd use it in a million years at a gig.
That's funny, man. That's funny.
Only Peter.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Okay,
Calls for the bird sounds. Yeah.
Will you, Raine? I found it so funny, and I don't know that it's going to come up again in conversation unless I ask for it to come up. I'm asking for it to come up. That was funny what Bobby said earlier.
About what?
Well, how I come with
a warning sign?
A warning
warning
label.
label.
A warning label.
A warning sign.
A
Maybe
warning
a
label.
sign too, or something
Yeah,
like that.
I had mentioned that I asked Bobby if he was ready for this. Ready for Peter,
I didn't get
really.
the answer. What was the answer? Was it okay?
He said,
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
He
okay.
said Peter comes with a warning
Okay.
label.
Oh no, he says, "Did you warn? Were you warned?"
Were you warned
And I
about
said, "Oh,
this?
Peter comes with a warning
See,
label."
I got it repeated. So way to go. Yeah, that was cool.
And that's a little bit true.
That's funny. That's funny.
But it's not bad at all, right? Yeah.
Oh,
But
no,
just
no, no.
used with caution? No.
Yeah.
What does the warning label say, Bobby?
Oh, wow. Okay. What does
The warning label says,
Oh, I know what it says. Yeah.
it says, "Expect anything."
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, he played it
Yeah.
safe. I
Yeah,
thought
and
we gave him an opportunity to talk some mad shit, but he played it safe.
Right.
That's
Expect to use your bird sound.
Expect to use your bird sound.
Yeah, that's funny.
Expect to use, the items that you didn't know you had, or expect
That's
to
right.
think out of the box, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, you're old enough, right? I mean, I don't know how you are, but we're probably similar in age. You remember the show The Odd Couple?
Yes.
That's what we got going
Oh,
on.
Okay.
totally.
Because she's from AKR Magazine, and they
Oh,
just did
that's
a
right.
great thing. By the way, Raine, you did a wonderful job with that spread. It just came out. Did it come out yesterday? Or?
On this, right on the first, but on the second, that's when I got notification that it was when it was published.
So
This
she's
is different than the one.
Yeah,
she did
no, this
previously.
is my thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everything's all together, but yeah.
Well, no, but go ahead, and you might
Oh,
as well
yes,
talk about what you do since I brought it up.
interview musicians, and I'm doing this
For a
local,
big time magazine.
Yeah, local series on it's called the Higher Love series, and it's like folks, I'm choosing them actually, who are just really, they're in the Bay Area. First of all, they're local musicians,
Yeah.
and they usually have a history of performance, and when I hear them, I just have to have a heart connection with them. I have to see that there's a level of depth in their skill level and talent, and also in what they play and why they play it.
Yeah.
Their heart.
Mhm.
So I just recently interviewed Christopher Gamper, who is a drummer,
yes.
that I met actually through Peter, and we had an opportunity to actually interview. I heard him play at one of your backyard improvs, and then we were able to interview him.
That was a nice spread. I mean,
yeah, I couldn't get him out of my mind. I
Well-
was like, I had someone else in mind. I said, I think I got to lift this guy up.
maybe she was going to get to it, but what she failed to mention to this point is probably just because I interrupted you is why you failed to mention it. Is no, but this you got about 1 million people who read this thing.
Yeah. Like, I think there were
every other month.
Yeah, like 25 million for the year, for the last year.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's the digital magazine.
It's a digital magazine,
Okay.
so it's there aren't a lot of them, and it's a high-end audio music magazine. I
No,
wrote
I-
a music column. Yeah.
I read Peter, what you wrote about Peter the first time.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
well, there
it
you
was
go.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling
Yeah.
you, if you ever need a keyboardist, this guy.
Oh my God, are you kidding? I already was like,
Yeah, no, it's great.
first of all, the piano and keyboard is, I always say this is my favorite instrument. I love music, but honestly, that's got to be just the diamond out of all of the instruments there are. I love the guitar too. Love the
Yeah.
drums. I mean, love them all. But the keyboard,
Yeah.
were you classically trained as a pianist, or did you start
I
with the
was.
keyboard?
I was classically trained as a pianist. Yeah.
Tell me about that, if you don't mind.
So my mom was a classical pianist.
Oh, wow.
So
I heard that in
she
here.
she trained all of the three of us to play.
Who's the three of us?
My brother, who's a year younger, and my sister, that's a year and a half older. So we're all. So I was the one that stayed with it the longest.
Got it.
Although my sister can still whip out her stuff she knew when she was 12 or 13. She can just go for it. My brother doesn't. He still plays piano, but probably the classical. I was the one that kept on going. However, then we all stopped. Early teens.
You stopped, so you were trained.
Stopped.
You went through lessons and so on and so forth. Played, developed skill, and then stopped.
Right.
Okay, and then what happened?
So started playing pop music,
Uh-huh.
and then early high school started playing, just some local bands. And this was in the 70s, so Elton John was big. So in my junior and senior year, my claim to fame was I could play most Elton John songs.
Love him.
Couldn't sing like Elton, but I could play his stuff, right? And so
Great compositions.
yes.
Yeah.
And then in my senior year in high school, I got invited to join a funk group. It's called Clean Slate, and they're still around. They're out of Folsom, and the leader of the band's still the same leader all those years later, right?
Oh wow, I love that.
Still in contact with him. And so that band I was in for a couple of years, 19 years old, toured Canada for a little stint. I dropped out of college and did that and came back and said, no, I want to
A
go back
true
to school.
artist.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, am I going too far?
No,
So
no,
anyway,
no, no.
I'm so curious. Yeah, that's why you're here.
So
I wanna know
in
about you. Yeah.
so then I played in some pop bands and different things, doing all kinds. I played in a band that played Boston and
that's
Foreigner.
so cool.
I mean, just for about a year. Then I did a
Both great bands.
yeah,
Love
I was
Boston
growing up
Foreigner.
with Boston.
Me too.
yeah, all that stuff.
Foreigner.
More than
oh
a
my
feeling.
God.
Yeah.
Both of them incredible. Yeah.
The then we did a top 40 band for a second. So I mean, none of the bands ever lasted more than like a year.
Okay.
And but then in 80 or 81, we started a jazz. Now jazz fusion was really big back then. So we started a group, and we kept it 4-piece for a long time. Later added a guitar player, and later added a vocalist. We were always kept it around 4-piece, but we started riding the bandwagon. There was a radio station called K-Pen back in the day, out of Mountain View, that did jazz fusion the whole 24/7.
Wow.
And so we would play some of their events. But there was a really thriving musical scene all over the Bay Area
Yeah.
in the early '80s. Noel Couture was on the scene.
Man, another great saxophone.
Yeah.
It's just a big part of the scene.
Okay.
So we all played around the same clubs. There was a good friend of mine, Danny Hull, was really big. He's the one that started Spang-a-Lang. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Tony Lindsay from
Oh,
Santana.
yeah, of course.
No,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I think Danny was the one that brought Tony in
Yeah, okay.
to the San Jose scene when he moved out here from New York. Well, anyway, that was our scene. We were all in our 20s, 30s,
Yeah.
and a lot of great music. And that's where we really started, growing. And so I was just talking to my bass player from that band last night. He lives up in Reno now, Drew, and he said, "Man, you really pushed us." So what we would do, we were basically like a top 40 band, except for doing all like Crusaders, Chick Corea, and Jeff Lorber.
Well, that's good music.
Ronnie Laws,
Yeah.
Tower Power.
Plus,
anything.
great experience because that's
no.
not easy stuff.
No,
really.
so we were in our mid-20s, early 20s, mid-20s, and just pushing hard. And we listened back to the stuff and like, wow, we were pushing pretty good. So we got pretty popular, as popular as jazz fusion got in the South Bay. And so in 1984, 85, and 86, there was a club called the Cabaret, which it was about 500 seats availability. They had a variety of different things throughout the week, and they had a lot of like Greg Kinn. A 500 seat auditorium is pretty decent size. It's not small, it's not
Definitely.
big.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
every once in a while they'd sprinkle in jazz groups. So we became the house band for the jazz groups.
Oh, nice.
So here I am backstage with Larry Carlton. We're opening up for my band, 4-piece, 5-piece bands opening up for Larry Carlton, Hiroshima,
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Jeff Lorber Fusion.
See, I would have never known this.
Yeah.
If we didn't have this podcast, forgive me,
This is
Bobby.
so
I just gotta
great.
say this is
Isn't this
great
great?
because
Yeah.
even if we didn't, I'm sorry to interject
Sorry,
here,
we're
but I
gonna
just
have a
gotta
moment
I gotta
here.
roll with. Yeah, I'm having a moment. She said I'm having a moment, but I would never know
Don't lose
that
your place.
because I don't know that I'd be able to hang out long enough with them either before or after
Yeah.
the show or in between or any other time. I
Yeah.
would have never known that.
Oh my God! And the
Yeah.
journey, I love the journey.
Yeah.
of the
So anyway,
musician.
carry on, brother.
Yeah.
But I got a whole new appreciation level for you.
So, and that was an so it was the not Return to Forever, it was the electric band. John Patitucci on bass and Dave Weckl. Before they added a sax player and guitar player, they were just a 3-piece, only for a very short while. Well, we opened up for that show, packed house at the Cabaret, 500 people, sold out, and here we are playing our jazz before Chick Corea. So we walk in, so here's how it was, and back in the old days, they used to have a lot of warm-up acts, all over the place.
Yeah.
Now they don't do that
Yeah, they don't
anymore.
do so much. Yeah.
So they say, well, the headliner is going to sound check at 3, and then you guys are going to sound check at 4:30, and then the show's not till like 8 or 9 or whatever. But they move their equipment back, and then the opener sets up their stuff and does their sound check.
Yeah.
Well, so we get there at 4:30, and Chick and these guys are just ripping. There's a song called "Gotta Match." You ever put it on? And they're just, and we all look at each other and just go, "Oh no!" I mean, we're this is like
Your legs are shaking.
yes, this is like the PAL football going up against the Niners in their prime. It's the top. It's
Wow, I know.
the actual pinnacle.
You knew the thing to get my attention right there. By the way, go Niners.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
So we were intimidated, and we weren't like other funk groups. We could hang and say
Yeah.
okay, but it was just so technical and so fluid.
Wow.
So that was our most intimidating gig.
And
But
so,
it was
how did you do?
we did okay.
Okay.
We did okay.
Were you nervous through the whole thing?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like
But that's
Well,
like
that's good training, right?
was good
It
training.
does build
Yeah.
muscle, like confidence and all of that. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
well, and it's always funny because if you talk to an artist, they typically, whether I've learned this with the musicians or even an artist, a painter, some fine artist like myself, which you are as well. A lot of times we're like, whatever, it's okay. Somebody else is like, oh, they don't see the flaws.
Yeah,
They
that's
just hear
true.
nothing but the brilliance,
Yeah,
right?
that's-
Yeah.
But you walk away. Do you ever do that with the backyard improv songs? I mean, do you ever watch them? I mean, I'm kind of
yeah.
I
watched
watched. Yeah, do you watch them? Like I'm saying is, if you had played them and then maybe sometime after, do you ever check? Because we have some musicians who are like, no, I never, and a lot of them are like, no, as soon as I get home, I check it out because I don't even remember
Yeah.
what the hell I was doing.
That's right.
Yeah.
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 No, I'll check them out. Especially some particular. Some are better than others, as you know, right?
Yeah.
And, or you feel it more.
Yeah.
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 And so there's one. I think the last one I played on with Ben.
Ben Misterka.
Yeah, and
And
Bill
William-
Norwood
yeah,
on
Bill Norwood
and Chris.
Chris Bev. Yeah.
That session to me, I mean, was just a whole lot of fun.
Dude, it was so much fun. You guys had people up dancing and everything. That's that's the show where I said, hey, do something Jamaican, and you just ended up going off on
That,
the.
that was at your club, right? Or at your warehouse?
That's
No, that
part
was
of this
outdoors?
backyard
Okay,
improv.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
speaking of that, did you ever do any? You did do improvs inside the Impulse
Yes.
room. You did a couple of
Yes,
them, right?
I did. Matter of fact, I wanna bring a moment that
Please.
I will never remember. I'll never forget
Oh,
at the Improv. I did. I think 2 of them.
okay.
But one particular night, you were. I wouldn't say preaching, but pontificating or
He was
you were-
storytelling.
yeah, he was storytelling, but I did like a church organ thing
Okay.
behind you.
Okay.
Like a preacher.
Yeah, like a preacher. And,
great.
And I don't know if you remember, but it was I really
Vaguely.
remember.
He was ministering.
No,
Yeah.
but go ahead. I want to hear it.
No,
Like-
and I started doing this. You were the only
Mr. Love.
the only thing is the most important thing is love.
Yeah.
You know, you went into this whole thing. So I started going on the organ on the preacher thing.
Oh,
Love
wow.
it. I
It
gotta
was-
check that
I,
out.
You-
I
I don't know.
Have that one?
I don't know.
I think this is before it was videotaped. I think you might have it on audio somewhere.
Oh,
Okay.
Wow.
Um,
So cool.
But wait a minute.
You
Go
got
ahead.
him,
No,
you
but
got
he
him.
wasn't done telling me.
No.
I was loving
But
this.
I'm
Go
just
ahead.
saying he got
Yeah.
you.
no, but to me, I looked at you and said, "This brother, he's got something. He's
Yeah.
got something." And I,
Well,
you
thank
know,
Thank you.
I wasn't a sacrilegious thing. I
Yeah.
I felt you were in the moment, and I wanted to capture it and put some.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Okay, yeah.
yeah. No. Go.
So that was it. That was one of my favorite moments at the improvs at
Yeah.
At the club,
Well,
yeah.
thank you.
Oh,
and
that's a
then,
beautiful moment.
that's cool.
Oh, I love it because I relate
look,
to it.
I'm going to keep the shit real.
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
You know what? As he's mentioning, okay, well, I had the YouTube channel for the Impulse Room, which I had some shot there, right? And then I also was going Facebook Live at that time too, right? Which allowed me to go horizontal. Now I'm stuck going vertical.
Allowed me to go
Vertical. I don't know if
horizontal.
this is a software thing. I don't know what the problem is. So
Right.
I don't know if I got it or not. But I'm going to scour it. I'm going to look for it to see if I can find that one. Do you have a favorite one? And you've done so many. If you only had done one or two or something, maybe I wouldn't even ask the question. And if you don't, it's okay. But with the Backyard Improv, since the club closed down,
yeah.
do you have a favorite of the Backyard Improv? You would think it's the one you just mentioned, 38 with Ben and
I have
Or do you
I have
have-
moments,
yeah, moments.
favorite moments, and
I
I was
love
gonna I 3 came to mind,
Tell me.
and we already talked about 2 of them.
Oh, we did.
One
Two,
of-
that's right. Two. Okay. The,
Right,
yeah,
the
One
bird
of them
sound.
was the bird,
Okay,
And the other was
okay.
the
and
minister.
the other one was the minister.
Okay.
Peter.
The Bird and the Minister. We got titles for
I
stuff.
like
That
it.
sounds like a book
It sounds
title.
like a
The Bird.
painting.
That sounds like a painting. I
Yes.
think I got to do a painting called The Bird and the Minister. Go ahead.
And the other one, which was something I hadn't done in literally decades, which is I got on a guitar patch on my keyboard, electric
remember
guitar, with Evan.
Yes.
Oh.
I
This was in
remember
the-
it.
This was in the warehouse.
In the warehouse.
There's a picture of us like going
Yes.
off,
Yeah.
and
I remember that.
it was
too.
a good. I hadn't played that kind of synth probably in
What was the
30
back and
years.
forth? So
Oh,
what they
right,
were
they
doing.
were
Is
like
there a
talking-
name for
Yeah,
that?
yeah, it's called trading solos.
Trading solos.
It's kind of like
Yeah.
scatting, but like if
Yes.
you're a musician,
But,
but, you
back
yeah,
and forth,
if
you're
you were a singer.
mimicking,
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah, and
that's
so
cool.
yeah, and then the end of it, at the climax is you just play the same thing
That's
and
beautiful.
you just keep repeating it
That's
until
so beautiful.
until you hear the crowd go, yeah.
Do you have
yeah.
that one?
That I do have.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a lot of-
So
That
I
I
want
do
some
have.
videos from you. At least
He
point,
picked out
point
some.
that out.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean, send that to me. Yeah.
I will.
Yeah.
I don't want the Brooklyn side of you coming out on me now.
No, why?
Okay, what?
The
Yeah.
there was another the
I'm
other
going for a
moment.
fourth moment. Okay.
Well, the other moment was where we did kind of a hard rock song. And that's not my nature now, right? I don't play. But we got into this
No,
thing. No, we got into this thing at that jam session up at the Eric's house, right?
Oh yeah.
With where Ben started rocking. So
Yes.
the whole time I'm thinking, okay, do I pull that same guitar trading thing against Ben? And,
That's a scary
Oh,
thought.
my
and so
goodness.
I mean we're all the whole
Yeah.
crowd's jamming and everything. And in the back of my mind I'm thinking, Should I? Should I? I mean, this is
That's
I've only
great.
seen Ben on, and I never played with him before.
Yeah.
So I say, yeah, go for it. You only live once.
Yeah,
right.
right.
But
So
how-
then next thing you know, we're just.
But how do you let the guy? Oh, you just start doing his thing. You start mimicking him.
Well,
how do you coordinate? Yeah, yeah.
How do you
no.
coordinate
Well,
that?
no,
Yeah.
no. Well, that one I don't think was a trade. That was what he soloed, but the song didn't lend itself to an organ or a electric piano. It just was out of context. We were rocking pretty hard. So I said, I got to pull out the old synth with a little electric guitar bend. But do I do this after Ben just took a solo? I
Yeah.
And I just let's do
No,
it.
let's
And then
freaking awesome.
I remember he looked over like, okay,
He was up for it, or like,
yeah,
okay.
You got balls.
okay.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much, yeah.
But it just worked out. And
what
by
hap-
the way,
yeah,
no,
what
go-
happened? Yeah, so what,
Yeah, oh no, so it
it
was
wow. So
Well,
that's good. You
okay.
took a great risk.
And Ben,
I
if
love
you're
it.
listening, this is cool. So
Oh my
okay,
God, he's
you
so
cut
good.
out a little bit early that same show, and remind me because I want to transition from this that we're talking about to what he's currently doing. This incredible band that he leads. I want to hear all about East Side Funk
Yeah, me
because
too.
that is a bad band, and I want to tell you a little bit about East Side Funk as they were inside the club and how important they were in the club. And just I guess I'm in the middle. Okay, I'll just continue on with what I'm saying. I don't know what the hell I'm saying anyway. No, but his band, okay,
All right.
East Side Funk. I don't know if it's always, but you nod or you correct me if I'm wrong. But 8-piece band is a rule.
Yeah.
yeah,
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay,
that's right.
and it's typically comprised of, typically of of course, yourself on keys. And by the way, he writes and produces all this music.
read
He
that.
writes this
I
music.
know. I got to ask questions about that.
Okay.
Well, go ahead, ask your question.
no, let's
it's a
go.
nice
You
little
go.
kind
Oh,
of
Yeah,
thing.
you're still setting
No,
it
go,
up.
Okay,
go,
so.
go.
all right.
yeah.
Well, anyway, so
I will ask.
this East Side Funk, they'd come in. They were one of the only ones that would come inside the club and hang a banner like how I hang
I
a
love
banner.
it.
I said, "Oh, that's cool. These guys know what
They
he's
know
doing.
their
He's
job.
got a penguin and shit on his bed.
I was going to
on
ask
his
you about
banner.
the logo. So
Okay,
I'm
so
gonna,
yeah,
I will
you
remember
know
that.
what? I
Okay.
don't even. It's a good thing you're around. You got that hard hitting kind of thing. Because I wouldn't ask
like the
about his
details.
penguin
Okay.
and how the hell the
Beauty
penguin
is
came
in the
to be.
details.
Okay, go ahead and
No,
just,
you go. But
I
you-
got to continue.
Go, yeah,
okay,
go with this band. Yeah.
but every time they would come in, there's no exaggeration. 8-piece band. The club was a trip. I don't know what you think, but it was beautiful. I really put a lot of effort into designing it, but it was. And it wasn't. I won't say awkward because it wasn't awkward, but it was just unique. Okay, let me use the word unique in that it was long and narrow.
Yeah.
Okay, it was just the space that I inherited that I took over in there, and it is what it is. I'm going to work with what it is.
Yeah.
And so when you come in with an 8-piece band, you're taking up a lot of that width, right? And you're facing the short side. You're facing the bar and stuff. But anyway, you come in sold out every time. And I would get.
You mean every time his band came?
Every time his band came in, and I'd write the calendar
wanna be
down for
clear
the
on
month,
that.
and I'd put on the calendar and it says East Side Funk. As soon as I would put that
Well,
on,
Just
I
the
would
name
get,
itself, I'm going.
Okay, well, I would get calls the following day. Can I get a party of 4 or a party of 2? Or I got
Just East
16
Side
people
Funk,
coming.
you know?
We're having a meet and greet, whatever.
not going to
He
that?
said, sell it out every time. So thank you for that, Bobby. Thanks
Thank
for being
you.
part of that club. But talk to us about East Side Funk. How was it founded? I know you're the dude, okay?
Okay.
Because you got people that come in and out. But tell us all about
the
East. What
origins,
you're
the
doing now?
organic-
She says the origins, the
development
whole
of it.
bit.
Yeah.
So first of all, going back for a second to the club. So I really appreciated your admiration for original music. I mean, that was the deal.
And that's what you do.
You know,
you do original music, yeah.
and there's not a lot of people that appreciate that. We have a few people that they appreciate it, but they're not going to lock into original music, but they really appreciate it. And you were one of the true blue guys all over the Bay Area, wherever we played, that said, I'm into this original music.
I have to piggyback on that and say that is such a beautiful thing because originality is where it's at, you know? I mean,
Thank you.
covers are great. But
Yes.
creating your own thing and using your own
Yeah.
authentic gifts, that's it. That's
so-
everything.
I want to I'll get back to East Side Funk,
No,
but I want to take a
however
second.
you want to.
I want to take a second to really acknowledge you, Peter. One of the there's an author, Simon Sinek. You know, he's written a lot of books, and there's a class he offers in gratitude right, as being a key to a successful life.
Yeah.
But he talks about 3 components that really bring yourself to life in your community. One is creativity, the importance of creativity in your life, right? And so this is you all the way, obviously. So that there's a whole thing you can say about creativity, but it goes without saying here. Next is connection. A lot of connections, a lot of contact, a lot of bringing people together.
King of connection.
And really the third one is compassion. And I've heard a couple of the people here that you interviewed saying, "Hey, when I was in COVID, I didn't know I was going to do this again or play again." And you have that element where you bring out and cheer people on. So I said, I need to mention this tonight.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Creativity, connection, and compassion. My wife has all those 3 as well.
Yeah.
And so the people that we attempt to associate with will have at least 2 out of the 3.
Yeah.
And I think the people that you draw are attracted to that.
Oh, well, Bobby, thank you, man.
Yeah.
I knew the moment I met Bobby. I mean, I don't want to get all emotional and stuff.
Yeah,
but
no, let's.
you just tell.
No, let's. I'm
Okay,
getting
all right. Well, this
because I
is
think
real
it's
talk.
Very significant.
This is real talk. Okay, and I
This
mean it
is-
about Bobby and just people in general, life in general.
Yeah.
I can tell right away when
Yeah.
somebody's cool.
I know.
I can just tell right away when their soul is. Look, none of us are perfect, right?
Yeah.
We all have flaws.
We're human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
But in the same time, I would rather
divine.
have somebody who has made mistakes in life, because we all make mistakes. I mean, I have no idea how many he's made, or 0 or whatever. But I can see the purity of people, and I can see when they're genuine. And I was like, man, I like this dude. This dude is cool. I mean, he supported this thing from day one. Okay, and you're still here. Shit, you drove all the way from San Jose, bro. And so, man, I really appreciate that. But again, thank you so much. But a little bit more about East Side Funk.
I just
What?
want to say one thing
Go
about
ahead.
that to close it, because
Yeah.
it was really significant, and I appreciate you bringing sort of those 3 elements into this, because they are such important elements of life.
Yes.
And living a life of integrity, really wholeness, you know. And I think that's such an important factor in what Peter does.
Absolutely.
An element in what he brings to this, and how powerful that actually is. And I said to him before we started the show that I just feel this sense of blossoming for Peter, because all of that work that he does is it's so based in love and creativity.
Yes.
And compassion is love. Yeah. No. And what was the other one you said? I just want to use your same.
Compassion, connectivity.
Connectivity.
Or connections,
He
connectivity.
is a master at that connectivity.
Absolutely.
And he doesn't even realize the magic that happens
Oh, no.
with that connectivity.
I
and
swear
what
this
goes
wasn't the purpose of this
what goes-
episode
well,
here.
No,
No.
but this is important stuff, period, in life. I mean, what he orchestrates behind, what that compassion and that creativity and that connectivity actually produces. It's bigger than him.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
if you'd allow me, then okay, just real quickly. I'll try. Well, I say real quickly. That's all relative, right? I come up with the warning label, as Bobby says right there. You know what I get real pleasure from? Okay, I decided to go all in on the idea of the starving artist lifestyle, and you're either going to make it or you're not going to make it. But gosh darn it, you're going to do what you're going to do, and you're going to create until you're going to create, and that way I can say, okay, I don't care how many times I failed, but I'm going to keep going. But I get a kick out of the idea of hearing that Bobby got together with this person
Yes.
or that person after the fact, but nobody really told me. I just heard it through, I don't know, after the fact, or through a third person or whatever, discover this person's playing with that person. They got together, like, for instance, Farida, who we love, the bass player Farida, right after number 48. We're going to go over there, and she partnered up with Chris Gamper and Paul Brennan, right? And I'm like, wow, that's cool shit. So I like it.
no.
I'm not like, I want credit for anything. It's just kind of neat that I just like
you're
hearing
like a magician.
it.
It really is a beautiful, magical thing. I mean, even the way that I met you and what became of that our
and I want to hear what you had to say, but I feel very thankful to Bobby, because a couple of the Of course, you have him. Okay, I mean, well, right there, I'm blessed. Okay, but you've got from his band. Okay, you have Paul Deegan on saxophone and Martin Rossip that are regulars, a part of the
I know them
Backyard
both.
Improv. And he never threw
heard them
me any
both.
shade or anything like that. Like, hey man, what are you doing? These guys are, it's just so. Thank you for the brilliance that you bring, the musicians you put together, and I see some new faces up there, and allowing me to, I don't know, pilfer is not the right word, but you know what I mean, to use or whatever, befriend or however you want to say it, become friends with. So you do the same thing, brother.
You know what? At this, at this stage of our life, I'm a little bit older than you.
I don't think so.
There's, I am, and
well, then you look fantastic.
Thank you. There's a limited number of gigs and performances that you have. I mean, versus when I was 20.
Yeah,
Right.
Totally.
Right.
And you're in your 60s. So now if people say, hey, I want to leave the band, it's like, please, be happy. Do what you need to do.
Yeah.
I'm really good friends with everybody that, I played with.
Nobody's ever said anything bad about him.
Because
Everybody
it's
says
like-
nothing but good things.
Yeah. So it's like, man, you got to do what you got to do. I don't want to stop you. If you feel you're done, you're done. I'm not going to hang on to you.
Yeah.
You need to go do
But
what you need to
I'm
do.
impressed. That's an
And-
8-piece band that you just keep rocking and rolling with and getting incredible musicians. And
Yeah,
how do you do it?
Well,
How do you keep it together?
That's what my daughter. She said I was more impressed with the fact that you can manage an 8-piece group than actually the music itself.
Yeah.
She said with all those personalities and
Absolutely.
all the schedules
Yeah.
Right.
and they're all high caliber, so they're in demand.
Yeah.
And so she was, so let me just, if you wouldn't mind, I'm going to
Please.
go back and talk about my
Absolutely.
family.
Yes.
So I was raised in a musical home. My mom was a pianist, and her older sister was an opera singer.
Wow.
My dad played guitar.
Wow.
And sang in church. So I was raised in the Catholic Church, and I would see my dad singing in church. And so to continue the story, let's go back, half an hour.
Yeah.
After my band 4/4, the one that opened up for all a series of things happened where it was time for me to leave that band, even though I was the leader of it. It was tough. We were together for 6 or 7 years. My daughter, who I just mentioned a second ago, was a year old, and I was already in her first year of life. I was working a full-time corporate job, practicing 2 nights a week, playing on Fridays and Saturdays, and then playing weddings a lot of times on Saturdays and Sundays. And I started playing at church on Sundays. And after a year of that, my wife said, something's got to go, or else we're not going to make it.
Yeah.
So I quit the band and spent the next 30 years playing church.
Oh,
Wow.
That's my background.
So
that's awesome.
So you're talking about
Yeah,
1986
that's what I was
to
gonna ask.
2016, with a few, and in the first 5 years of that, I had a group that did. It was like a Christian jazz group. So but we weren't in clubs. We were pretty much doing jails and recovery places and
Nice.
things like that. And then other than that, I was in church till 2016. 2011, I have a friend, Abraham Ariano. You might be his friend, a bass player.
I
Right?
think so.
He said, hey, do you ever get out and gig? I didn't even have an amp. I had a keyboard but no amp. I got to borrow an amp to play. So I just started doing a couple with him and Martin and Tony Providence.
Yeah.
And so we started just playing maybe a couple of times a year. That was it. And so in 2016, I got a Mac
Okay.
with GarageBand on it.
Of course you did.
And I started putting some sounds together. And it actually started sounding pretty decent. So I called my friend Jesse, who still plays with me. I've known Jesse since high school, and I said, hey Jesse, come over and let's record some tracks. I got some grooves. Just come over and blow. And he goes, okay. So he came over, and then there's a popular group around the Bay Area called the Entourage.
Yeah.
They have a 3-piece horn section. I don't know, and they're all good musicians. I don't know how many guys have made it into your scene, but Nasario is the trumpet player, and I've known him for a long time as well. So he was in the band when I was playing in the funk group in the 70s. He was playing in a band called All These People, and they were like the junior Tower Power. Every city had like four wannabe Tower Power groups, and everybody would say who's the best one, and they were one of the better ones. Okay. And so I knew him from back then, and when I got out of the scene in '86, I was off the scene. So I lived life. I raised a family, worked the job, and played at church. That was my life. Yeah. 2002, my dad passed away, and we at the funeral, and Nasario's there.
So interesting.
Like,
yeah.
What are you doing here? He goes, oh, your dad's been like a spiritual mentor to me. Of course, my dad didn't tell me anything. Yeah. And he says, I'm here. He played like a little trumpet at the very beginning. I'm like, what? I said, hey, if I ever do anything musical, I want to bring you on. I don't know when it's going to be.
Right.
So 2016, I call him up. This is now 14 years later. Yeah. Hey, Nasario. Hey. That's crazy. Long time no see. And I would see him from time to time, little concerts and stuff with his bands. Come on over. So I said, I'll send you what we have, and I want you to come play some horns. I wrote some horn parts. And he says, can my horn section play on them too? I showed him he calls back. He goes, can my horn section play on them too? I go, what horn section? He goes, I got most of the guys from back then. I'm playing them now. I have a band called the Entourage. I said, okay. So next thing you know, I have a horn section that's playing most of the first album.
Again, I wouldn't have known. Yeah.
And it just kind of fell together. And so halfway through, I was just going to do 4 songs. My son, Robbie, says, hey, Dad, you should just put a CD together. I said, oh, no. Yeah, no, I'm just having fun, getting my friends. And so he said, no, put together. It'll do okay.
Yeah.
So that's our first. I should have brought some CDs.
Oh,
anyway,
wow.
So I think that's on the links. Anyway, so that's how that started. And then so I finished the CDs, called up Martin because I had done some gigs with him, called up Abraham because I had done some gigs with him. So my world, outside of the church world, I still knew people, but I've been out.
Right.
And then next thing you know, I have an album, and it says Eastside Funk, Love, Joy, Groove.
I saw that, yeah.
And
I listened.
I'll send you a couple of the links.
There's a piece on there that I really liked.
And they say, when are you going to gig? I go, oh no, it's not a band.
Yeah.
And they go, oh no, you got to put a band together. So within 6 months, this is a God thing. All of a sudden, these musicians started popping up. And before I know it, in July of 2017, we had our first gig. It was at a little club in Saratoga that's not there anymore.
So I got you kind of in the beginning.
We gigged in 2017 at your place.
Yeah.
We were brand new. Yes.
I didn't even realize
that.
Wow.
But I mean, talk about polished. Yeah. I mean, these guys came. How are you going to come in and sell this out all the time? I mean,
a larger force brought them all together to do this thing, and here they are.
I would have never known that.
Yeah. So
that's so beautiful, and so just so interesting. Also.
Yeah. So I learned in church. I learned sensitivity So for me, my Christian belief is the Spirit. And so I learned how to listen. And when I write, and it's just people can explain it a different way. That's the way I interpret it, and so that's how I get my inspiration from. Right. So ever since then, and through the course of the 30 years, I had a lot of seasons where I was wrote a lot of. My wife and I put together a Christian album as well in the 90s, and there was decades where I didn't write at all. I was just, and then all of a sudden, this band kind of took it and said, okay, so now I'm like, I relate to you on this level, Peter, is that you're prolific in and you're disciplined. You have to be to continually produce, you know, and to paint, and then to schedule, and to put other things on the shelf, like sitting around just watching TV doing nothing. And you may be doing that while you're painting, but you're producing.
He knows me.
You're producing in a disciplined way, and then you look back, which you don't like to do, but you look back and you have a whole prolific list and a work of art. And so I just write and go on to the next, and someone says, how many songs you got? And I was like, oh, I guess we have like 50 or 60 originals.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But you just keep going. It's like it's almost your life calling to produce and to create and to bring life, to have a blank wall like that and to come out with that, to have a nothing on your computer and come out with sound and stuff that inspires.
To express. Okay, I'm going to take everything you said, which amen, brother. I feel that need. I feel that need like you do, apparently, and like Raine. She's quite an accomplished artist as well. But I do feel compelled to produce. I used to, as an artist, I even, as it relates to the shows and putting on the shows and putting the time in to think, who would Bobby sound cool with?
Yes.
Who does Bobby know, but who doesn't he know? And I don't know all the people. You know, obviously, just a huge ton of people. But this idea of me sitting here and being calculated and me going, okay, I'm going to put this person with that person. I don't think they've ever met. They have distinctly different sounds, but their personalities are cool in their own ways. I think they would mesh, and I think this sound, you guys are a master at the Backyard Improv of, especially as it relates to when I connect a song title to a painting.
Yeah.
Okay, because oftentimes I'll have just finished a painting or something, and then I'll say, hey, this is what this painting means. This is the title of the painting. Okay, it's now the title of the song. Please make a song that talks about this painting. And you guys are a master of that. And there's so much more I want to talk about, you know, with your band and like where you're going to be and what you're doing. But if it's okay, I would, what do you like about the Backyard Improv in particular? What attracts you to the idea of pure improvisation as opposed to, and do I have this wrong? So I sometimes make a distinction that there are different types of improvs. There's the improv where you have a house band, okay, and they invite a musician or two that's willing to come up, and they brought their guitar, or they brought this or that or whatever, and they're playing mostly known songs, but within that they riff and they come up with their version of what that part is supposed to mean, as opposed to the way, you know, or the other thing would be an established band that's rehearsing their songs, whether they're original or not, and then you're just spending time with the people you're always familiar with. But now you're riffing. You guys are hanging out. You had a beer. You didn't have a beer. You had a whatever, a water, a seltzer, or something like that. And you're like, well, you know what? Let me just experiment with this. Versus what it is that we do and that you do with the Backyard Improv, where it's just all show long. It's just all show long. I mean, why do you keep coming back? And thank you that you do.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, let me say a couple of things. One is, your shows are all fantastic, and part of the reason is a bunch of planning behind the scenes and a bunch of hard work that no one sees. You know, and that's true with anything that's worthwhile, is somebody's doing a bunch of work and a bunch of thinking. And so, and the evidence when you go there and everything runs smooth is somebody did a bunch of work behind the scenes. And that's how you know, when everybody thinks it's easy and you can just do it, and it feels really good. Somebody worked their tail off to make it that good, right? And so I know how much work it is behind the scenes, and even to the point of the calculations. I was going to talk about that, where you're matching up people. Now, let me. On the other hand, you have a good ear and a good sense of people. but you also have a heck of a pool to draw from. And so we all speak. There's a lingua franca, right? A common language that we have. When you're not picking guys that are, I have a lot of musician friends that wouldn't freak out. I got to read the music, or I don't know them, or what do I do?
Right.
I need structure, right? And so the people you've chosen to participate in this community are open-minded, and let's go. We don't know where we're gonna go, so we're creating the future on the spot, right? What I like about that is I know that you've already vetted the musicians. You've already thought through personality issues. You've already He
knows me.
Yeah, you've already said this is going to work, and so we're all in. Everyone that steps in says Peter's not going to throw us with a the fear for experienced musicians is that there's going to be a drummer that can't keep time, or a bass player that doesn't know. You're picking guys that
somebody's out of the pocket.
Yeah.
Right, somebody's out of the pocket, or they're too egotistical. They're gonna. It'd be like pickup basketball, where one guy hogs the whole thing.
Right.
And it's like, well, we're here too playing, but you're taking everything.
Right.
So you're not gonna select those kind of musicians. So there's a whole gamut of that stuff that you've already, whether you knew it or not, already filtered all that through.
Actually, that part I did know.
Okay, so the musicians come in, and it's boom. All the ego, we don't have to worry about. You're not going to get stepped on.
Yeah.
You're not going to get belittled or looked down on.
Right.
You're not going to, we're all in. We're all in this explore.
It's a collaboration.
We're all we're all lab rats in Peter's laboratory.
I like that. He meant that with love, though. He meant it with love. Okay.
Of course.
Yeah.
And,
heard that
and,
before.
Oh no, I haven't heard that before.
and we're gonna go. We don't know where we're gonna go.
Yeah.
So the unpredictability, it's predictable in the way that we know it's going to be fine musicians. We know there's going to be a great crowd. We know the setting's going to be cool.
Yeah.
So that those are really big obstacles. You don't get all those playing when you go to a normal gig.
Right.
So all that setup and prep is already done. So now it's just execute with the guys that are here. Let's do it. And so you're when you set up you storytell, and then you give us, which is the only thing the only critical thing I have about you about that is that none of that's shared on all your videotapes, right? It's
I agree. I think he is a part of the show, right?
It's actually because it actually sets it up
it really
nicely.
does. It's a missing element.
That's I can actually take that criticism.
Okay.
That kind of criticism I can take.
Okay.
That's okay. That's cool.
Good.
I can live with that.
The label
Because-
didn't flip
because-
over to sensitive.
that kind of sets it up, and it's kind of a
I agree.
we get the fruits of that, but you want to see the roots of that. You want to see we didn't just come
You
up
didn't
with
just
that
start,
on our own
start
say,
up this song out of nowhere.
There was a setup and a prompt
and a story behind it to some degree.
So it almost appears like, okay, let's do you start. Okay.
Yeah.
But really, all credit where credit is due, bro. You're the one that set that thing up.
Can I tell you a funny story? And by the way, Doug, how are you doing, Doug? Are you okay with your beer over there and everything? Okay. I know you just look like I haven't heard a peep from you, brother. Is he in close enough? Are you getting like this nice shot with all of us in?
Bobby
you get all
is
three of
super
us.
interesting,
No,
and
Bobby
this is a super
I
interesting
know.
interview. Honestly, so I can feel
I know
Doug
you have
listening.
your own questions, but Bobby
no.
is just
No, we're
he's
going.
I was like, man, whenever he says he can play, or he's gonna come or something, I don't know where the cap went. Screw it, don't worry about the cap. Okay, you got the cap.
I'm just looking at our time.
Oh, what is it? Oh, 15. We got like 10 more minutes. We're gonna still do 10 more minutes. Okay. I don't even remember what the heck I was going to say. But no, he's got stuff to. He came all the way from San Jose. That's kind of a long way. I appreciate. You got love for somebody if they're I don't know, 45 minutes. If they drive over 45 minutes, man, don't even question they're genuine. genuineness, right?
Driving time
Okay,
in the
five,
Bay Area.
Yeah, 5-10 minutes, all right, whatever.
Yeah, that's
you
a
know,
good
15
barometer.
minutes, okay. You know,
How
half
far-
hour, oh, that can go
How
either
far
way.
are you
45
willing to
minutes,
drive
that dude,
in
he
the Bay Area?
yes, because
that shows
that,
your love for me or not.
yeah.
Let me just say another
Please.
thing about the improv. To me, it's like finding long lost brothers you didn't know you had.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's a beautiful description
like,
of it.
wow.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's like, and so like about a month ago, Chris Beveridge and Tina and Bill Norwood showed up at one of my gigs.
Oh, see, I like
that would have
hearing
never
that.
happened
I like
without
hearing
you.
That,
That would have never happened.
I love hearing that.
Yeah,
That's my favorite thing.
Yeah. And so the fact that you don't take any credit for it, but you enjoy that's you. That's your gift of being a connector.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I
Hey,
never
you
heard
know,
that. I didn't know that. That was cool.
I mean, there's authors that have written about that, the connector.
Yeah.
I can't remember the guy's name, but
Yeah, it's truly a gift.
yeah,
it really is.
Yeah, not everybody has that.
Have it.
You know, by the way, he supports the arts. Him is what he's got a lovely family. Just everybody in the family.
He's
I've
a
met his
lovely-
wife a
he's a
number
lovely
of
man.
times.
I'm
He's
sure
a
he
lovely
has a
man.
lovely
He's got a
wife.
lovely
Yeah, and a
wife
lovely
who probably
family.
keeps him a lovely man, right? Okay.
Yeah, Denise, you hear that?
Yeah, Denise. How long you been
Hey,
married?
Denise.
Dude, you better get these numbers right.
This May will be 40 years.
No,
that's
get the
amazing.
heck out of
Yeah.
here.
That's gorgeous.
40 years
40
married?
years, yeah.
Bravo.
Yeah.
Nice
So-
job, girl.
Yeah.
So my wife did an excellent job in identifying the gifts that each of them had, and then just pouring everything into it so that can come out and grow. So
How many kids do you have?
I have 4 kids. Let me talk. Let me
Please.
tell you a little bit about them.
Yeah.
Olivia is 38. She lives in Milwaukee.
Okay.
Her husband's a professor
What's
at
up,
an engineering
Olivia?
school in downtown Milwaukee. She is the director of music at her church,
Oh, wow.
Christ Church in downtown Milwaukee. She has a degree in flute, but she plays multiple instruments and sings. And she's a connector as well, creativity and tons of compassion. I have Robbie who just left. I took him to the airport yesterday. His family was here. And Olivia and her husband have two sons.
Oh, wow.
So Rowan and Freddie. And I wrote a song called Freddie Found a Frog because my other son Rowan said that to him. So that we have a song on our playlist right now called Freddie Found a Frog. But anyway, Robbie and his wife Bria, they're both involved in the Christian music scene in Nashville. He's a producer. She's a vocalist. And she goes under Bria Jean. All her music's all over Facebook and all over Spotify and stuff. They do really well. And they have 3 daughters. They just had a third. Our youngest one's Maggie. She's 3 months old.
Wow.
So he does music full time. He he did other stuff before that, but that's where he is now. I have another son, lives in Hawaii, CJ, and he's a veterinary technician. Again, compassion there. That's what he does. And he's also a gifted violinist, bass player, and vocalist.
Wow, it runs deep.
Jeez.
He's not using any of that stuff now, but he has it.
Yeah.
My youngest daughter, Bethany, is 26, and she's the only one that lives in the state and lives at the house still. And she's a working professional as an artist. She's an artist, fantastic artist, but she is an artist that makes money. She's an industrial designer.
Okay.
So she does a myriad of,
Cool.
and she's also a vocalist, keyboard player, and she leads at the church we attend. She's strong.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so we have that as a background, and it's neat because I did that for years, and I saw my dad do it, and now some of my grandkids are singing.
Wow, so you're passing on that beautiful gift, and it's such a testament to both you and your wife, and of course the people that came before you, your
Yes,
parents.
absolutely.
But that's really beautiful. That really is. That's a symphony in itself,
Yeah.
just to have all of that happening, as an outpouring of your talent, your own talent, and passing that on, and your own attention to that.
Thank you,
it's
Raine.
so beautiful.
Yeah.
Really. That makes the world a
Raine's
better place.
cool, huh?
Yeah.
Raine's
Rain.
nice.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Raine's
Yeah,
nice.
thank
Yeah,
you.
you're very good at what you do as well.
Well, you know,
And
would
so,
you share with us and remind everybody she's with that great magazine, but you're an artist as well, and you're very spiritual. You're a vegan, I learned last time. You brought these vegan
Don't
donuts.
even say that. No one wants to know
Okay.
that.
I don't know. That's
Everyone's
a good
like,
thing. No. Well, hey, look, did I not eat a bite of your vegan
You
donut?
did, you
okay,
did.
and we had Kid Funky.
That's
He ate a
right.
bite of your vegan donut.
He was like, "Can I have the rest of it?" And Doug loved the vegan.
Yeah,
donuts.
Doug. Yeah, very good, right? The only complaint I had about this is squeezing of almonds to make milk.
I know. I'm like, they go in the blender, dude.
Wow,
You
dude.
know what it takes to make to make cow's milk?
Okay, but why wouldn't you just call it like almond juice or something like that? Why do you have to
Because
say
it's white.
milk?
It's white.
Oh, because it's white.
Yeah.
So white
looks
makes
like
it milk.
Yeah, it's milky.
You could be
It looks
drinking
like milk.
glue.
But you're saying almond milk. Oh my goodness.
I mean, something's white. I mean, just because it's white doesn't cut.
See,
What's your thought on
even
that,
your
bro?
milk is privileged, man.
Nice. He's funny too.
Okay.
Right.
Anyway.
What is your back? Oh, no, she's got questions. Go ahead,
Yeah, go
because
ahead.
we got about 5 or 10 more minutes.
Well, I
so
just
go ahead.
want
What
to
are some of
say,
your questions?
Peter, he's off the cuff, so I have a little bit more of a,
Yes.
a connective style.
Yeah.
So I just want to just thank you for that beautiful description of your family. Yeah, I have to take that in, It's hard for me to go from like hearing all that and really hearing it in the moment and
Yeah.
feeling the beauty of it and then moving on. But I did want to ask you about your logo.
Oh yes.
Yes, the
Yeah,
logo.
so I was like,
So-
wow, that is a really adorable logo. I just don't understand. Like,
So my daughter drew
yeah.
the picture. My youngest daughter drew the picture of.
have to understand it.
Okay, so
Glad
when
you
we
were
had
there.
all 4 kids living at the house
Mm-hmm.
years ago, we went to San Francisco Zoo one time,
Okay.
and for some reason the penguins just caught
the
my
cutest
eye.
penguin in the world.
I was just looking at the penguins,
Mm-hmm.
going, they look like they're in little tuxedos. Some are swimming, some are just standing there, some are flying, some are in groups of 3, some are in groups of 8, some are
Mm-hmm.
by themselves, and I'm just going, they're really unpredictable.
Yeah.
They're social nobody knows. They're all doing their own thing, but they're all uniquely penguins. So
Looking at you.
Okay.
and they're going, Dad, we're gonna go see the lions or something. I go, yeah, I'm enjoying the penguins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So next thing you know, it's, we're at some dinner party and my wife says to somebody, Bobby's really into penguins. It's like, no, well, I like penguins, but I don't know if I'm really into them.
What does
So-
that even mean? You have stuffed
Yeah.
stuffed penguins on your bed?
So well, let me tell you what happened.
Okay.
Underwear,
Yeah,
So-
right.
So for the next 20 years,
Oh my God.
I got penguin ornaments. Penguin, every year I get a penguin calendar. I come to work with something new.
Next show, he's getting a
You know
penguin.
what to get him, right?
And so I got associated with the penguin until about 5 years ago. I said, okay, enough with the penguin calendars, and so
That's hysterical.
so the penguin has always kind of been
Hilarious.
this running Valderrama inside joke.
That's hilarious.
Oh,
And
that was
so-
all
I
the
would
world.
have to bring up
Yeah.
the penguin.
So I said, I just don't want to have another band, I said, can you draw up a penguin or something? So my youngest daughter, she drew that up, and
I love it.
and then
She did a great job.
Yeah.
we called him Marcel.
Oh, I saw that.
You
That
have
was
a
Yeah.
song.
We have a song called "Where's
exactly.
Marcel?"
That's the one I played.
He played that in the club.
and that
Don't you lead with the
synthesizer, yeah.
in the beginning.
Yeah.
And there's a drum and you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that
So-
one. Yeah.
You did
So
your
when,
homework.
when the kids were young, if I misplaced my cell phone, I'd say, "Where's Marcel?"
Yeah, that's the joke. I
Where's
remember
my-
that shit. Flashback now.
So
Funny,
so
dude.
so that's where Marcel comes from.
Yeah.
So we just put
Oh.
I just put a Facebook post on today.
That's so cute.
We did
and
we went
wacky.
to
Yeah.
what's the place called where you do ceramics of art.
Oh,
yeah.
like
Petroglyph. It's Petroglyph
okay.
down in Willow.
okay.
We went to Los Gatos the other day, and so we just got them back. So there's a little petroglyph of a Marcel penguin that says Eastside Funk on the back.
Oh.
We just and so I just picked. I posted it just today.
Oh,
So
where?
you have
On
to-
your Facebook?
Yeah.
I'll have to friend
Yeah,
you.
on the
and see
Eastside
it.
Funk Facebook.
Oh, on
Facebook
the,
post.
okay. I'll have. Oh, well, I can see.
I
it then.
got a
Public.
question. We got only like 3 or 4 minutes. You can take the next questions after this. This is short. Let's you and me guess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're gonna guess now. Then we're gonna ask Bobby his question. Then let's ask Bobby if he has any questions of us. But
Okay.
if you had to have a guess, how many penguins are ornaments on Bobby's family tree?
Okay.
Okay, what's your thought? I'm gonna say there's 8
Okay.
to match the number of musicians.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Ah,
and you tell us the truth. What's your
Okay.
guess? How
I'm
many
gonna-
penguin related?
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say there's closer to like 20.
Oh shit, he's all in. Okay, so
Yeah, I don't know the exact number, but I would say that's probably Raine's.
she wins. Okay, I don't know what
Yeah.
you win, but
I mean,
okay.
he's getting penguins.
Yeah.
So-
You know what he's getting from me now. Okay. It's going to be a penguin painting.
And it's
He's got a
tree.
paint here too.
So I see there's plenty of penguins on that tree.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
hilarious. That is so funny. Well, okay, but what's the connection between the
connection
penguin's perfect for East Side Funk. It's a funky penguin. I mean,
Yeah. So
Yes.
other than that, no.
Yeah.
It's just because I like.
Yeah.
Because I'm really into penguins. That's why.
And your daughter drew a great one.
well, you're
Yeah.
going to think that's a funky penguin. All
It's
right.
very cute, and I love it with I just love it. Yeah. So I said, I got to ask him about this. It's adorable. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
so I also musicians sometimes are way too serious.
Yes, and I love the
and-
levity that.
Yeah, it's just like let's lighten it up.
Yeah.
You know, we've done a couple of shows where we've opened up for people, and it's
Yeah.
like they play the musician game. You know, like, you know,
Yeah.
you guys are opening up for us.
Yes,
or, you know,
exactly.
I can't even deal with that.
Yeah.
I'm too old to deal with that stuff.
Yeah. Well, I love that.
Yeah,
Even in some of the names of your songs and everything, they had a little levity
Yeah,
to
it's
them,
just-
a little whimsical feel.
Right.
But there were some serious ones. Revelation, that was a really beautiful one.
Yeah.
I went for
Yeah.
that. Was it Revelation?
It was,
He's doing her
Or
homework.
Remember and what was the other one
not
called?
it was
Redemption.
Redemption.
Yes.
Yeah, I listened to that.
Yeah,
that
that's
was
a
gorgeous.
that was Martin Rossop's taking the lead on that song.
that
yeah,
was really good.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's some elements, some gospel spiritual elements on some of the stuff,
Yeah.
and then there's just good old slapping funk, have
Yes,
fun.
totally.
On our one
it's
of
all
our
over the place.
our
yeah.
newest song is called. There's a song called Was Hattin'.
What's
Yeah.
happening?
I saw that.
WUZ
Oh,
was,
Uzi. Okay.
and then Hat
Yeah.
HAT
Okay.
was Hattin'. That's
Yeah.
the name
All
of.
Well, that's what I'm
Alright.
talking about. Your
Yeah.
titles, I like them.
Yeah.
They have that whimsical feel. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
So
cool.
I don't
yeah.
want to.
Very creative.
And also to your point too. It's not to your point, but this is how I feel about the improv. There's a looseness to our music which I don't want to use. We make some mistakes, but they're purposely. There's some tight parts, but then there's some really loose parts, and I wanted to keep that because I don't want to ever get too stiff.
Yeah.
Some bands you see, it's just like really mechanical and there's no heart.
Oh, I know. I agree.
And so I like leaving
Yeah.
some looseness in
so I
it.
love your
Absolutely.
performances.
Well,
Really,
Yeah.
absolutely.
they have the perfect amount of
Well, as a,
Yeah.
I don't know if you
structure
always,
and
I'm sure you do,
spontaneity.
but
yeah.
it's funny because you, as a musician, as a producer, as a writer of music, as you're playing, it's a different perspective than the viewer, the
Yeah.
novice,
Yeah.
the casual
Oh, totally.
listener.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Right?
Yeah.
He's
We
in it.
don't hear the imperfections. We don't hear the missteps.
That is very true.
Okay.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
all sounds like gold to
Yeah, it
me.
really does.
So I mean, you're probably more critical of
Well,
it than
Yeah.
you know.
You
What-
just
well-
it's just like your paintings where that patch of black probably wasn't intentional, but you probably want to do something there, but it's black now,
Yeah. Exactly.
and nobody will know.
Yeah, you have a
Exactly.
couple paintings, by the way. I've seen them in your house that you got from me.
Yes, I have
Right.
two paintings. Thank you for bringing that up. I did have that.
Yeah,
As I know,
I love
you
seeing them.
gave me one, the ESF
Yeah,
one,
and then you bought one.
and then we
I
bought
mean,
that.
yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Do you have
a
any of the sketches? I don't remember.
No
Do you?
sketches,
We're
no
gonna have to do
sketches,
something
yeah.
for your birthday. When's your birthday?
Yeah,
Couple
it's
weeks.
coming up.
Oh, a couple weeks.
The
Yeah.
18th, you said?
Oh,
Yeah.
you already
Yeah.
said that or something?
Yeah.
Oh, he
January
did.
18th, yeah. He's a
I,
Capricorn.
yeah.
That's nice, too.
I think you were in the other room,
Yeah,
but
I asked him
um,
his birthday.
Oh, okay. It was
Yeah.
prior to when
Well, I
we
was
started,
he
right?
had such a calm, beautiful, peaceful demeanor.
Do you realize it's been an hour
Yeah,
and
I
12
just wanted
minutes,
to know
but
when
I
you were
feel like
born.
I can talk to him for like
it
freaking
doesn't
Yeah,
doesn't matter to
so-
me. So
40. Well,
Conversational.
right. And I also want to make sure we take care of Raine. Okay, if you notice, Raine is sitting on this side. She looks beautiful today. Nice outfit and everything like that. Some of your heart, what? No, I'm not setting you up. I'm not setting you up for anything. I'm just saying I know you got more. You know,
Oh,
like you said
questions?
earlier, the whole odd couple thing.
have
You're the
questions?
heart. Yeah, you have questions. You have
Well, I've
structured
learned so
questions.
much, so I don't have anything that's like pressing. I wanted to know about the origins of your
Yeah.
band, and it's so cool to hear that it really just came into being not too long ago, really,
Yes.
But you have this long history of music, and I love what you did, that sacrifice that you made, but it's not a sacrifice, obviously, to kind of like stop doing what you were doing, bring it to the church, and take care of your family.
Yeah.
Gosh,
Yeah,
that's so you know what's important in life, and I love that. Yeah, I can tell that you are just a person of high integrity.
One of the other songs that I really like, you picked out some of the songs that stood out to you over the course of these few years here, both at the club and with the Backyard Improv. One of the ones that I remember really well that I thought the solo that you did was just freaking killer is not only, the one with Jinx Jones way back when, but that was in the beginning of this whole thing. I think it was number 10 or something. Boy, it's tough to remember all these, who's playing one. I think
Without
so.
the ginkgo,
And I said it with confidence. Without the what?
Ginkgo, the supplement for memory.
I don't remember. What did you say? Okay. I don't even remember what the hell I just said. Okay, ginkgo.
Let's order some on Amazon right now.
Okay. I need those fruits and veggies thing or
You do.
whatnot.
You
But
need
there
to
was a
eat it.
song. I don't know if you remember this one. It's called Wonder. It was called Wonder, and you actually had a bandmate in there, one of the sax players. You had Paul Deegan in it, Roderick Brewster. We were inside the warehouse.
Oh.
Okay, Roderick Brewster went off on this crazy solo, and
okay.
you all kind of took the lead at a certain part, and then you just came in and killed it. It was called Wonder. I'll have to forward that over
Okay.
to you,
Beautiful.
Raine,
I like the
and I
name
got to
of it, too.
remind
Oh,
you what that
named
was
it,
too.
though. It was it was
Oh, I
something,
named it. Yeah.
So speaking of naming things, so in your current band, you do the writing, or does everyone collaborate, or how does that work?
I pretty much do the writing, yeah.
Okay. So you write the songs, the music,
I
everything.
write the
yeah.
songs, the music, the horn parts, chart them all out. So
Everything.
I actually have a minor in music. My major's in business. That's I'm
a
still
good
working.
combination,
Yeah.
actually.
So I still work today out of my house. Been out of my house for about 4 years, doing consulting work.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
And so I was trained on how to write music.
So you do that part.
Yeah.
And so your band just falls in. You teach
Yeah.
them what that is.
So I have,
do you rehearse?
we rehearsed I think like 6 times last year.
Okay.
So anytime I get a new batch of songs,
Okay.
we'll just rehearse, or we get a new member. That's
Yeah.
it. So I'll write all the parts out. I'll chart it out, and I'll record myself playing all the parts.
Okay.
Right. Usually most of them on keyboards.
Okay.
Then I'll just send it out to the group saying, here's the sound, here's all the music, learn it.
And there's
Yeah.
such a level of musicians, they just can take what you did and
Do
make
they
it work.
usually? Do they usually? Teach
Most
you?
of them,
Yeah.
most of them will. A lot of them are really good readers, though,
Okay.
especially the horn players.
Yeah.
The rhythm, everybody, pretty much knows their part, and
Okay.
we come in and it takes 2 or 3 times, and it's like, okay, we're good.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah.
awesome. I mean, that's a
big job.
big job.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah. So, well, I'm thankful for my wife because I'm working all day on the corporate stuff, and then we have dinner, spend a little time, then
Right.
I have to watch that as well too to make sure.
Well, she's
it's all
tolerant.
balanced.
She's tolerant.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
she loves you.
Easygoing.
That's
Yeah, she
the
loves
thing.
you.
That's
Yeah.
love.
40 years, for goodness
Yeah.
sakes.
And
You
you're
guys
in the,
love
you're,
each other.
You're
Jeez.
sharing presence, really. You're in the same place.
Well, you make every
know.
time I see him, I get that kind of there's that aura, that group aura around them, right? I don't know whatever a good color is, whether it be amber or yellow or whatever, but whatever is love and just a togetherness, you got that
probably
thing
magenta
around you.
or
Okay,
something
yeah.
beautiful like
What
that.
is the love aura color? Is there you
Well,
went into
the
that
heart
kind of
chakra
thing,
is
right?
green, actually, but it can be magenta as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
So,
right. See.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know where
I
that
thought it was
stuff
brown.
comes from. You are beautifully brown.
Oh, we're gonna have to
So-
wrap it up pretty soon, just
Yeah.
because this can go on forever. Do you have anything else you want to ask him? I mean, where's East Side
Well,
Funk playing, man? What do you got going
We
on?
our next performance is San Pedro Square on February 9th.
And we're San Pedro
And
Square.
that's in downtown San
Okay.
Jose. It's an outdoor thing. It's really nice.
Nice.
Yeah. And so, we have some gigs later in the year, but and there's going to be a couple. We're going to be in Livermore a couple times at a winery out there that we played at last
Oh,
year.
yeah.
Anything this what's
that
that?
winery. What is that
Oh,
called?
he's talking
called
about
Las
the-
Positas. That's what this
Oh no,
one's
that's a
called.
different winery.
okay,
It's a
got it.
different place in
Yeah.
Livermore. Yeah,
Yeah, there's-
you were
there's
talking
a
to
few.
think about Almost Famous.
Yeah, Almost
Yeah.
Famous, yeah.
Yeah, we're not famous enough to.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
You're
But,
pretty famous, dude.
So I do want to say that I do other music as well. So once a month we do jail.
Okay.
And we go in with a team of people, and like this coming Sunday we'll be at Elmwood. We're at Elmwood one Sunday a month, first Sunday of the month.
So who goes? to the jail? with
There's
you?
people from the church I attend. My
Okay.
brother is a bass player. He
Okay.
plays bass.
Mhm.
It's mainly just him and I. And
Okay.
I have a keyboard that has a drum machine in it.
Okay.
And then,
And then you come in and
we do 2 to 4 songs depending.
Uh-huh.
And then someone gives a little encouragement.
Uh-huh.
And then we pray for the man at the end.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So that
Truly.
happens once a month. That's a trip to
Yeah.
me. And there's 3,200 men at any one time and 200 on the women's side.
They must love
running-
hearing this as a deviation from what it is their normal
Especially
yeah,
live
everyday
music.
and
life.
we're doing gospel related music.
Yeah.
And it's a little it's
So
it's still my style.
It's like church, really.
Yeah,
It is like
it
a
is-
spiritual experience.
It's,
Yeah.
it is a church service.
It's beautiful. Mm-hmm.
And then also for going on 24 years, every Friday morning, 7:30, I've been at City Team and worked with 40 men going through drug and alcohol recovery. So I've been doing that the whole time.
Wow.
This May will be 24 years every
Wow.
Friday.
Hey.
So me, my brother, and Jesse from the band, and we have a drummer, Sam,
Yeah.
and we've had different drummers. So those are other extra things I do musically as well.
Well, it's beautiful because my theme in most of my articles is music heals. It's
Yes.
a healer. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And to give that
Yeah.
to others is really, in the beginning there was the word, right? And the word could have been music, sound, whatever
Yeah.
it is. But yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. Let's wrap this up by I'm going to ask him a question. It's going to be a short answer. I asked him to come to see what his schedule is like
Yeah.
for number 48,
Yeah.
which is February 3rd. And it's okay. No, yeah, I don't hold it. He's a busy dude, so I'm not going to hate on him. He comes whenever he can. So what's the word? Go ahead, keep it real.
Okay.
Don't know yet.
You don't know yet. Okay,
We're supposed to travel.
You're supposed to travel.
sometime between, like around the 18th all the way to the 9th, and we're gonna head to go see my daughter in Milwaukee, and we
Okay.
don't know the dates yet. So.
Okay. Well, I would never normally do
I
this.
know.
What am I going to do
Oh, I
that you
thought you
know
were-
that I'm not going to do?
No, I thought you would never normally ask someone publicly to be in your event.
No, I've already done
No,
that
you
with
haven't.
Evan and Farida. I think I've done that a couple times. No, but
Okay, then I'm wrong.
I'm just going to let him know who you might be playing with because he hasn't played with them before. There's two people. The band's already set, minus either you or not you.
Okay.
Because it can either go from 4, which I've already got, quartet. If you join, then we're now bumping that one up to 5.
Okay.
Okay. So typically I'm not, and I won't for the rest of the band. So in the event that you do play, okay, you got to pretend like you're surprised.
Oh, but don't say this on the air.
You don't think I should?
No, I thought this is a surprise.
Yeah.
It was gonna be a surprise, but I thought maybe I can lay it out there. So he's like, "Oh shit, I got to
Yeah, but
make
everyone
some."
else is gonna know. Whoever
Yeah.
listens.
Well, that's
Yeah.
right. All
You
6
know-
listeners.
Yeah.
You can
Okay.
No,
you,
people
you can
talk.
tell me off
You
when
get that
we-
one. You get
turn
that
off the
one
mic.
listener.
No,
who
well, if
tells
I'm not telling you,
everybody
yeah, and that's the way they do it in our scene. Okay,
Nobody
so,
has to
if I'm
listen.
not telling you now, I'm not telling you later.
Okay.
But put it this way: the name came. Can I give you a hint?
Sure.
The name. Oh, Doug is telling me don't even give him a hint. All right,
write it down, damn it.
No, that's okay. Forget it. Put it this way: you've never played with them as part of the backyard improv before. One of them you know, the other one you don't know, but I want you to know him. Okay.
Yeah.
Just because
No pressure.
we're good like that. Yeah, no
But
pressure.
but I would love
But
to
you're
hear
gonna be
you.
missing
oh
out.
my
big
God, I
time.
would love to
Okay.
hear your
It's all
keyboard.
good.
I'd love to hear you play, and I will go hear you play regardless.
Okay.
Yeah, we gotta go
but
out and support
still,
him.
I would love
East
to hear you
Side
play.
Funk, everybody.
Because what I've heard, I
Out of
definitely want to
San
hear you
Jose.
play live.
Thanks, Raine.
Yeah,
Appreciate
I really
it.
do.
Yeah, he's an
Yeah,
incredible
especially with your
person.
spirit. Yeah,
His band.
definitely.
Again, if you don't know by now, everybody learn. East Side Funk. The man right there, Bobby Valderrama, the leader that just is one and only, my buddy, so generous, just a kind spirit. His whole family's great. Support that band. Now, you did in the club, but outside the club, if they're playing over there or anywhere, hopefully you can line something up on this side of town.
We try.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
tough. Yeah.
All right. It's tough. It's tough, but, it's all good. But make it a point of seeing them. Do you have any questions or parting thoughts as we leave?
Just thank you for being who you are, both
Thank
of you.
Yeah.
You know, you're influential,
Mm-hmm.
and people love what you do. I mean, it's such a rare thing to have 40, 50 people show up just and all in.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's going to bring, but it's going to be good.
70 people inside of Claudia's house.
That was a lot of people. And
That was
so,
standing room only.
I mean, there's a lot to say about
Yeah.
that. That doesn't happen. That happens with a lot of hard work, a lot of connection, all the things you talked about, creativity.
Thank you.
Thank
you. You have any words of wisdom before we cut out?
I just want to say I'm very grateful that you made it all the way from San Jose and that I had the opportunity to meet you live and face to face. It's been an honor, honestly.
All right,
Yeah, and I
likewise.
really respect you and your work, honestly, and I can't wait to hear you live.
And he's also
Yeah.
broke the record at 1 hour and 23
I love it.
minutes, and I'm
Well
not editing
deserved.
anything.
Okay.
Everybody's getting all the time. So
I love it.
love you,
All right.
Bobby.
It's,
Love you
it's
too.
been
All right,
totally
man.
interesting.
Thanks
on
so
the
much.
interview.
All right,
Thank you.
we're out.
Yeah.
We're gone.
All right.
Bye, Raine. Bye, Bobby. Cool. He just